Hello, hello friends. Welcome to this session on machine tool and process course having course code MEL 203. It is intended for second year BTech Mechanical Engineering of semester 1. So, this course, myself, Professor Dr. V.D. Shinde, Professor in Mechanical Engineering, going to cover casting process overview today in today's lecture. So, this course is scheduled like this. Teaching scheme is there are 4 lectures intended for this course per week, out of which 2 lectures will be conducted by Professor K.K. Pawar on units 1, 2 and 3 on machine tools, whereas remaining 2 lectures per week will be conducted by myself and which will be on unit 4, 5 and 6 based on manufacturing process, that is casting and forming. Out of this scheduled 26 lectures, I am going to cover almost 18 lectures on casting process and only 8 lectures on forming process. Evaluation scheme for this subject is SE1 is of 25 marks, SE2 is of 25 marks and semester end exam is of 50 marks. So overall it will be converted to 100 marks and multiplied by 4 credits. Being 4 credits, you have to give more hours for this studying of this subject. So course objectives are first 2 objectives based on casting process, molding and casting, and second objective is on forming, to introduce forming and plastic shape process. The third objective is to study various metal removal process and machine tools, which is based on KK Pawar syllabus. And fourth objective is based on machine tool again, to study non-ferrous, that is non-conventional machining processes. Course outcomes are describe the importance of casting as manufacturing process, explain different types of forming process. These 2 course outcomes on based on casting and forming, whereas remaining 2 course outcomes are categorize machine tool and discuss their basic working principles, configuration and specifications, enumerate working principle and applications of non-traditional machining processes. So this is the course content of unit 1, 2 and 3, that is machine tool processes. This will be covered by Professor K.K. Pawar sir, and these are lectures allotted for unit 1, 2 and 3, that is section 1 of this portion, that is machine tools. Section 2 will be covered by myself and it is manufacturing process, wherein first 2 units, that is 4 and 5 units, will be on casting processes. So 9 and 9, almost 18 hours I am going to teach on this, whereas last 8 hours will be on different forming, forging and plastic processing processes. So almost 8 hours are intended for this forming, forging and plastic processing. This is in detail syllabus of unit 4, that is casting processes, and 9 hours are needed for covering this portion. So this how portion is there and divided in 9 hours, that I mentioned over here. So today, importance of casting process, advantage and disadvantages we are going to study in today's lecture. These are again 9 lectures allotted for unit 5, and again last unit, that is unit 6, these are 8 lectures. The textbooks mentioned in the syllabus are, these are textbooks for casting process and forming process. First is P.L. Jain, author. It is published by Tata Microelectronics and name of the book is Principles of Foundry Technology. Next book is P.C. Sharma, Production Technology, published by S. Chand. Third book is by P.N. Rao and it covers foundry, forming and welding. Of course, welding is not there for your syllabus just now. I suggest also from the reference book MP Grover, very nice book, published by Wiley, Fundamentals of Modern Manufacturing. And of course, this is the oldest book and very informative book, Principles of Metal Casting by three authors, Hein, Loper and Rosenthal, published by Tata Microhill. Other books needed for first three units for machine tool that are different workshop technology books by different authors you can see in a library. So in detail syllabus again, unit 4, 5. Coming to casting, metal casting in India, ancient, are going to our history in India. You can see in Mohenjo-daro, cast bronze dancing girl statue is there, and it is reported 2500 BC. Long back it is used to make casting of this dancing girl, and it is made by a bronze metal. And Rigveda mentions casting equipment such as Dhamatri and Bhastri, that is nothing but blower and cupola. This is blower you can see nowadays also, and cupola also you can see nowadays. So in history you can see these words Madhuchita Vidhana, that is nothing but lost wax process, and Panchadhatu, that is nothing but made up of 5 metals such as gold, silver, copper, brass and iron. These are 5 metals collectively used for making Panchadhatu. So different statues are made of. So, metal casting in India, medieval. So 3 statues, 3 photos I kept in this slide. This is 4th century AD, this is 8th century AD, and it is 12th century AD. After looking into this, what you observe is that this is a Buddha statue, Gupta period. This is Loknatha statue from Pala period, and this is Chola period, that is Nataraja statue. As an Indian, what I see is that this is a made up of brass, this is also made up of brass, this also. But here, intricacy, if you see, there are no hollow parts over here. It is solid single part. Whereas from 4th century to 8th century, there are some cavities inside this. Hollow portions are there, and it is very delicate statue you can say, and it is difficult to cast. And this is more difficult than this casting, because here very thin parts are to be cast, and moving metal into this thinnest portion and solidifying is a difficult task. So we have to control melting point, melting temperature, pouring time, pouring period, getting system, etc. All these things you have to control. So what are these? These are nothing but processing variables, and we are going to see how these process variables can be controlled. So from moving from this end to this end, increasing complexity and finer features are there. So this is metal casting in India, modern. You can see this is first Indian foundry in Jamalpur, Bihar. This photograph is of 1897, and this is modern photograph, Indian modern foundry photograph of 1997, that is Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. You can see latest photographs also, but I am going to comparing these two foundries having 100 years difference. There are molds, here are also molds. These are molds and spread like this. This is a huge this thing. This is compared to that compacted one. And here molds are there, and they are kept on ground floor, but here they are placed on the railing. On this railing they are moving. Here they are poured manually. Here it is poured by crane. Huge crane is there. Here is also man involved. Here also man involved. What is the difference? 1997 to 2020, no man. 2020, very less manpower, or almost robot is pouring the metal. You can see. So increasing mechanization and productivity is there within this 100 years of history. Now we see in detail different casting applications in different sectors. Coming to automobile sector, these are few castings made up of different metals used in automobile sector. This is a wheel rim made up of aluminum alloy. This is a manifold pipe made up of again aluminum alloy. This is radiator part made up of cast iron or brass. This is gear case housing, and this is differential casing. This is cylinder block. These are made up of cast irons, whereas this is made up of ductile iron. These are some applications of railways and shippings. Here railway engine part is there. This is bogie. Railway bogie you might have seen this big part, wherein here in this grip different other parts are going to fit over here. This is railway plate again made up of alloy steel. This is bollard of ductile iron. This is ship fitting made up of ductile iron. This is ship anchor fitting. This is also heavy casting. This is defense application of castings. This is tank tracks. This is tank pump head. This is fire suppression housing. Aluminum box made up of aluminum. This is tank fitting again aluminum. This is cannon fitting, and this is cannon made up of bronze. You might have seen at the entrance of Rajwada in the porch. You can see this cannon is made of bronze. These are sanitary fitting castings made up of brass. These are joints. You can say elbows, bends, T joint, L joint. Okay, these are walls made up of cast iron. Soil pipe fittings are there made up of ductile iron. These are walls of cast iron. This is manhole cover again a cast iron. This is a large pipe. You can see fuel is standing over here, and the height may be say 6 feet something. So this is almost twice of that. So around 10 feet diameter is there. Height is there. This so diameter is very huge. These pipes are used for supplying water from very large area, large distance, say 50 kilometer, 100 kilometer. So huge pipe, main supply from say tunnel to or river to your main tank of your municipality. This is a pipe splitter made up of cast iron again. These are machine tool applications. This is a compressor case made up of cast iron. This is hand wheel. This is spanner made up of brass or copper. This is a frame housing. This is a coupling part. This is shaft housing made up of so these are again different applications used in machine tools. These are applications in electrical and energy sector. This is a very known electric motor casing made up of cast iron. This is generator housing made up of cast iron. This is switch gear housing used in electrical application. This is compressor case, very big compressor is there, and casing is made up of cast iron only, made by casting technique. This is pedestal of field turbine, wind turbine, and so many holes are there. You might have seen here bolting will be there on this huge wind turbine pipes are fitted on this. This is a windmill hub on which these 3 blades are fitted on this. So this is the center portion of the rotating this in the top of the windmill. Sorry. These are industrial machinery. This is a chemical plant, valve pump made up of hollow steel. This is a clean head made up of cement plant. This is a steel plant roll. This is a power plant. Impeller of made up of cast iron. This is a sugar mill plant. Mill headstock. This is a textile plant. Roll cams are there made up of ductile iron. This is a casting applications in construction equipment. This is a pivot pin for bulldozer made up of alloy steel. This is a bowl of crusher. Then bucket pin is there, alloy steel. This is a ball socket, alloy steel. This is a surface box. This is a drive spindle assembly of cast iron. Coming to farming and mining, these are auger bits made for drilling or making piles. This is a deep plow made of cast iron. This is shovel of ductile and this is bucket loader of JCB machine you might have seen. It is very tough. It is used for crawling or digging inside the ground. This is a paddy thresher made of cast iron. This is planker made of cast iron. This is tooth wheel again made of cast iron. Coming to this last sector, biomedical implants. Wherein tooth implants are there. Many of the body parts, if they are not functioning due to any accident or something like that, your knee or shoulder problem is there with their bones, they are replaced by these implants, medical implants. Many times tooth implants made of titanium alloy are there. These are of titanium because titanium is having high strength and low weight. This is titanium cobalt alloy. Hip joint is of titanium cobalt alloy. Again, you can see lot of the alloys are made of titanium. Here, this is because titanium is lighter weight, high strength. At the same time, it is body fluid corrosion resistant. That's why medical implants are made up of titanium alloy. This is a hip joint made up of stainless steel. Here we have to go for stainless steel, not regular steel, because it may corrode inside and may generate some problem. Of course, coming to daily used parts, jewelries, decorative items, and artistic items. You can see these door castings. Big doors are made up of this bronze, or they are casted. This is furniture made up of cast iron. Again, this is bathroom fitting. Of course, it is a light alloy, zinc alloy. It should not be corroded while working. This is a garden sculpture made up of cast iron. Again, given paint on this to rust free. This is a jewelry ornaments. These are gold atoms, jewelry atoms. This is a bell you can see in temples made up of bronze. It is known for sound cast. Now ringing sound you can see. Monument made up of bronze, and this is a horse made up of bronze. So what we see and studied is that different sectors are there. Application sectors of these castings are there, such as automobile, railway, shipping, aerospace, machine tool, biomedical, art, and luxury. In these sectors, requirement is that very high requirement is there in automobile sector, but value addition is low. In aerospace sector and defense sector, requirement is low, but value addition is very high. Value addition means post processing. And sanitary section, very huge requirement is there, but value addition is very low. Like that, value addition you can see in these last two sectors is very high. So where is value addition is very high, there is huge potential of making casting and making profit. So profitable business you can make by using these techniques. And the aerospace and defense sectors are welcoming you with huge profit margins. Biomedical implants are again huge profit margins. Art and luxury items are huge profit margins, whereas these are medium profit margins. So this process now we see in detail. Metal casting process we see in detail now. So there is a metal. We are going to melt it. What is the casting process? Wherein we are taking a metal, we are melting it, we are pouring it inside a mold. After that, we are removing that casting and we are checking whether desired part is observed or not, is prepared or not. So, which are metals? We are using ferrous and non-ferrous metals. Different metals we are using. We are melting in different route. Induction furnace is there, arc furnace is there, cupola furnace is there. In a pouring, you are using gravity, pressure die casting, or vacuum. We also need vacuum in some special intricate case castings. Variable in mold is whether these molds are permanent mold like die casting, whether these molds are dispensable mold like sand casting. How we are removing the molds? By manually or by mechanized. So this is called as a bedding section of this. So result part, due to these variables we are getting different shapes. These castings are whether sound or defective, it is having sufficient strength or not, that we are going to see. So these are different process parameters. We are going to see and study these different process parameters to achieve sound casting with proper strength. So all this portion is dealing with these variables. We are going to study in detail this process. So here you can see this casting process wherein liquid metal is poured into this mold. This, here it is poured by a very big crane ladle, whereas here it is poured by a manual. So both are casting process, but the route is same, making a mold cavity, within that pouring a liquid metal. This is a casting process. So almost all metals can be cast final shape, desired shape. Only minor finishing is required in this. After casting we have to go for machining, so that final machining is needed in some special parts. So here drilling is there, so you can see here these are so many drills are there. With appropriate control of material and process parameters, different metals I shown till now: aluminum alloys, bronze alloys, and then titanium alloy, ductile iron, cast iron, steel. All these are metals and process parameters. As I mentioned previously, different melting temperature, different furnaces, different molding techniques, which are used here to improve and to achieve uniform properties throughout the casting. Why these are needed to be controlled? We need uniform property throughout this casting. So these shapes are intricate shapes, very complex shape. You can see it over here. There are internal cavities like this. There are hollow parts like this, or here. Here you can see these pins are there. The hollow portion is there inside this. Here there is a hollow portion is there. So how to cast this hollow portion? For that, the shape is called as a core. This core is nothing but made up of sand again. So what is the difference in mold and core? Mold is for preparing outer shapes, for giving outer shapes, whereas core is for giving inner shapes. Both are made up of sand, but one is for outer shape, responsible for outer shape, other is core is responsible for inner shape. And being responsible for inner shape, core should be harder than mold. This is the important thing over here. So there are internal cavities, hollow parts are there. There are large parts, very small parts are also there. So these make our engine blocks, cylinder blocks, transmission housing, piston, turbine disc, railroad and automobile wheels, ornamental artifacts. So many shapes are made over here. So we are going to compare different processes with their advantages and limitations. Here sand casting is there, advantages are there, such as almost any metal can be cast, no limit on size and shape, low equipment cost is there, is economical for low volume production. The volume means I want to make only 100 parts, 10 parts, it is economical. What is limitation of this process? Surface finish is not good. So I said here coarse finish. Dimensional accuracy is not so good. Finishing is required further. So all these things can be minimized by machining process. So after sand casting we have to go for machining. But very important is low production rate is there and cost is also low in this case. In case of inversion casting, we are making this by pouring wax into the cavity, and then we are removing the wax, and within that cavity we are pouring the metal, that is called as investment. So this casting is known as investment casting because wax pattern is used over here. Here sand mold is used, here wax pattern is used. So good surface finish you can achieve where almost any metal can be cast, good dimensional accuracy, fairly high production rate. Limitation on part size is there, only small size castings can be made in this. Here pattern is expensive and mold is also expensive, and cost of labor is also high in this case. I have not covered this portion yet, but I am telling you, I am comparing this process with sand casting. We are going to see in detail in forthcoming lectures. Permanent mold casting, good surface finish and high dimension accuracy there. Production rate is also high. Whereas limitation is high molding cost. Metallic molds are there, that's why. And suitable for high volume production. More than 1 lakh parts you are going to make, then go for permanent mold casting. Suitable for simple shape casting and low melting point alloys. This die casting is also suitable for low melting point alloys such as non-ferrous alloys. Limitation is part size and cost of die is high. Here you can get very excellent surface finish with this die casting, excellent dimensional accuracy, high production rate with die casting. Complex shapes can be cast because here pressure is applied. Little or no finishing cost is there. In centrifugal casting, high production rate is there, good dimensional accuracy and surface finish. They are expensive setups. Centrifugal castings are used for techniques are used for making pipes, hollow pipes, drainage pipes, or water sewage pipes, and they are made by the centrifugal casting. These are good for production of cylindrical parts only. These are some advantages and disadvantages of different casting processes. So, quick way of producing finished parts is like engine parts, pipes, jewelry, air hydrants, pump parts, machine body parts, and ornaments is possible by these casting techniques. So, steps are different melting techniques, different metals are used. This liquid metal is poured into the cavity known as a mold. They are allowed to cool and solidify in the cavity. After solidifying, they are removed. So sand is removed and casting is removed and further finishing is done. So whole this involves, all these processes are involved in the casting. Advantage, overall advantage of casting are near net shape we are getting, low scrap rate, relatively quick. Low scrap means only little bit machining you have to do, or not. Many times in a case of injection casting, no machining, so low scrap rate is there compared to other processes I am talking about. Relatively quick process, relatively I am saying, compared with other. No size on limit, very small as well as very big casting can be made, and reasonable good surface finish we are achieving in this process. Different techniques are sand casting, shell mold casting, centrifugal casting, die casting, investment casting, ceramic mold casting, permanent mold casting, plaster mold casting, evaporative pattern castings. Now these techniques, overall say 100% weightage is there. Out of this 100% casting, sand casting's weightage is 60%. Almost all, more than 50%, that is 60% weightage is there due to sand casting, because heavy castings are made by sand casting being a cheaper process. Investment casting almost 7%, die casting almost 9%. This die casting and permanent mold casting are around 20% because these are non-ferrous alloys. So you can say non-ferrous alloys of 20% weightage. Centrifugal casting like pipes, weightage is or share is 7%, and shell mold is only 6%. So we see in detail afterwards. This is a process. Here this part is to be made. This is casting, and this is liquid metal is poured into this mold. This is the technique. So once again to repeat, steps in production are: we have to make a pattern, to make a core, we have to make a gating system to this pattern, and with this use of this mold, we have to prepare a mold by using a sand. By using pattern, we are going to prepare a mold. That sand is this sand is used for making mold. This sand is not simple sand. Some sand additives, binders are also there for preparing mold. This mold is ready, is there. Now in this mold cavity we are pouring the liquid metal which is melted in this furnace. So molten metal is poured into this mold and they are allowed to cool and solidify. After some time they are removed. This is called as shakeout, wherein sand is removed and casting is removed. This casting is further cleaned and given heat treatment, maybe for property change, and it is cleaned and finished. This is additional heat treatment, cleaning and finishing, and after inspection Is they are inspected for any defects, is there any pressure tightness, that is leakage is there, or dimensional accuracy is checked in this process. So why sand casting? There are few points wherein why sand casting, because almost 60% I said weightage is of sand casting. So we have to see in detail why sand casting. Metal casting high precision means high cost. So if you need very high precision, there is other process such as die casting or emulsion casting, but high precision means high cost. So we have to think of low cost process. In case of we are making small number of objects, say 5, 10 or 120, say statue we are making one or two only. So we have to go for this low cost process, sand casting process. We cannot go for die casting because die making is very high, involves very high cost, huge cost. Visual approach in this case is to make disposable molds out of sand or plastic. Disposable means each time for making a single casting we have to make a single mold. After preparation of the casting, that mold is broken, that sand is again used. That's why it is called as a disposable mold, maybe of sand or plaster. Like we are using plaster if your hand is broken. We use plaster for giving a shape. After that, shape to that bone. After that, we can remove this plaster. Like the same molds are there. The kind of disposable mold and the techniques used for making mold is again involve cost and quality. For very intricate and precise result, lost wax or polystyrene foam is used as a casting, used for casting process use. The less intricate workpiece or lower precision requirement, direct sand casting is adequate one. What is sand casting? Here, all casting, not just sand casting, is about pouring of molten metal into cavity. All casting method requires two basic things: a cavity, that is object of desired final shape, and way to put a molten metal into a cavity. In the sand casting process, cavity is made up of a sand which is held together by a binder. So binder plus sand mix, we are going to make it in a mixer, and then we are pouring this sand into the cavity. That is called as a mold. So sand casting is used to produce wide variety of metals compounds with complex geometries. You can see it here. This is a shape, and this is a pouring metal, and this black is nothing but sand mold. These parts can vary greatly in size and weight, ranging from couple ounces to several tons. Some smaller parts, intricate parts like gear, pulleys, crankshafts, connecting rods are made by these techniques. Larger applications include housing for large equipments and heavy machine bases. Sand casting is also common in producing automobile components such as engine blocks, engine manifolds, cylinder heads, and transmission cases. This is what I want to cover. Let us see one video of this molding, how it is there, what is the process involved in this. Details are there, and after viewing this animated video you can see how castings are prepared and your doubts are clarified in this coming video. Thank you. Pattern is kept on a flat board and then empty box is kept over there. Then parting line sand is spread over there, dust particle simply. Then green sand is filled over there up to the mark in the flask. Then by a rammer it is rammed properly so as to achieve a strength for this sand. Then remaining sand is filled till the cavity fills. Again it is rammed so as to achieve strength by a, then extra sand is removed by a striker rod. So you can have the plane surface which is coming over there. Now the box is tilted and kept again on the same box. Remaining pattern is kept on that. Empty box is kept on that. Runners and risers with its pin are fixed to the pattern, and then parting sand is filled, then again green sand is filled till the box level. Again by a rammer sand is rammed so as to achieve proper strength to this casting. Again remaining sand is filled till you achieve proper mold hardness. Extra sand is removed by a striker rod. This excess sand or the flask is removed by this process. By a pin is called as venting wire. Vent holes are generated inside the top mold. Withdraw the runner and riser, and extra sand also removed from this runner bar. It is true. Now patterns are removed and sand is cut so as to pass the molten metal from sprue to the casting, and then again box is tilted and closed on the top box, on the mold box. Now mold is ready for pouring. This is called as a green sand molding. In case of dry sand molding, the molds which are made previously, which are having hardness before baking, is around at the scale of 3 to 3.5. Here green sand mold is baked to improve the hardness of the mold. The sand hardness scale tester shows the hardness. Here it comes to be 3.5 scale. Now these green sand molds are heated in an oven and they are baked at the temperature of 110 to 260 around. After that they are removed, and now the hardness once again is checked after baking, and this hardness scale, of course it is increased now. It is showing 7.5 scale on the hardness tester. So this is dry sand mold. Now skin dried sand mold. Here in this case pattern is kept on the shop floor and then empty box is kept on that, and this flask is filled with the sand and it is tilted and pattern is removed, and by a burner the molds are heated partially so that they get dried around the mold cavity at the rate of around 22 mm approximately on surface of the mold. So around 22 mm skin dried is achieved. This is known as skin dried mold.